There is nothing we love more than a gemstone prospecting adventure. But with fuel prices at the moment, you're either rich with a full tank of fuel or poor with a full tank of fuel. We are the latter. It was the perfect weather for prospecting, a little warm but not too hot. We packed for everything from sieves to shovels as we weren't sure what to expect. We were heading somewhere we hadn't been yet, the Gladstone Hill prospecting area. Situated just a few minutes west from the township of Gladstone, this 8-kilometre squared prospecting area doesn't require any licences for hunting. There are 5 mines within the prospecting area too, so plenty of gems. Where we were heading today was very accessible, either a short 4-wheel drive in or a walk in, and the Smokey quartz is in abundance, which means everyone leaves with some treasures. We spent a couple of hours here digging around and collecting some beautiful Smokey quartz specimens to try in our rock vibrator. And some of the holes from the previous hunters go real deep. But if you're heading here, pack your Bushmans. There are lots of jack jumpers and march flies, and I was covered in bites. I don't know if that's topaz, but I'm saying it is. We even brought Nanny Shirley along. We absolutely loved this area. I filled my bucket up very quickly. Dave even had a little pan to see if there was any gold. There wasn't, but that was only the one pan he swelled. So we got back to work to find some more Smokey quartz before we were heading to Gladstone to have some lunch. Because like always, my stomach leads our adventures. And to be honest, the Gladstone shop has all the goods you could ever need, including some of the yummiest pies I've ever had. Maybe that's just the prospecting talking, but I'm going to talk it up anyway. After lunch, we headed to Little Blue Lake because I have been told by Little Birdie that there was some amethyst there, and I wanted some amethyst. Well, more anyway. It was a little snaky, and we did see a very big tiger. He wasn't interested in a photo. More smoky and clear quartz that we collected from Little Blue Lake. They look like normal rocks when they're dry. Check your rocks. Little Blue Lake is a former tin mine pit from the early 1900s. The blue colour is created from the light reflecting off the clay and minerals. I do actually remember everyone swimming here when I was younger. We weren't as educated back in the dinosaur era. It was almost time to end our prospecting adventure, so we decided to head to Pioneer and jump in the Ringarooma to cool down and see what we could find. I find lots of sapphires in the Ringarooma further south, so I thought I might have some luck here. It is colder than it looks and no sapphires, but to be honest, it was hot and I was ready to head to camp, so I didn't really care. But it is hard to walk away when you're finding so many pretties. Here is some of the collection that we found in the Ringarooma. So many interesting rocks, and I love looking at them under torch lights. If you have a look at all the different creeks and rivers that flow into the Ringarooma, you will know why we will never be able to search them all. But I will try. We left Mum and headed for camp. We had decided to stay at Waterhouse Conservation Area near Bridport, and it was 28 degrees. So being a potsy girl who has spent most of the day doing manual labour, we had to stop at the Gladstone store again for some salty snacks to keep me upright. Thanks, Dave. The road from Gladstone to Bridport is a roller coaster. Some parts are windy, other parts are straight, and then you will get the bumpiest of parts that feel like it will throw your car off the road. Look at that straight piece of road. That would be epic on my motorcycle. Just saying. Regardless of that, it is a beautiful drive that I highly recommend to any Sunday adventure traveller. And don't forget to pop into the Gladstone pub. Waterhouse Conservation Area is managed by Parks and Wildlife and requires a parks pass to access and camp. Camping is free, which is great, but can also mean that it's busy on the weekends and school holidays. And it is quite isolated, and there is no to limited phone range in the area. So if you like to stay connected, I would definitely consider camping at the Gladstone Hall. Access to the campground we had chosen is about 12 kilometres on corrugated gravel road through farmland and native coastal scrub. It was so beautiful. And the view of Waterhouse Island, absolutely stunning. Why I don't own an island, I don't know. It's definitely on my bucket list. Fishing here would be amazing, and Dave and I plan to come back for some beach fishing and maybe even some floundering. Heading down to our camp spot was very nerve-wracking. I'm a little bit of an introvert when camping and love all the space all to myself. But being this is a social camp situation, I had to suck it up. However, we had the entire area to ourselves. Camp spots are pretty much self-sufficient. There is toilets at some of the spaces, but not everywhere. So don't camp here if you're going to leave loo roll everywhere. That is my biggest pet peeve. The beach was absolutely spectacular, warm, and we were the only people there. It was so good to be somewhere where there was literally no one. Even though there was lots of campers, no one was on the beach. I was definitely being spoiled. This trip was mostly to test out our new swag. It's a bit swanky. We have the King's Grand Tourer and it's more mini tent than swag, but to be honest, I like a bit of comfort in my old age, so I'm all good with that luxury model. We also just installed an XTM kitchen in our Discovery. Told you, I'm old, my back hurts, I need comfort. The Discovery is proving to be the perfect adventure vehicle. Not only is it cheap on fuel, but it also has the comfort and accessories that make camping a breeze. Now, if only it could remind us to put the camp cooker back in so that we wouldn't be stuck with no way of cooking our steak. It was a fire ban. We couldn't cook the steak on a fire. So we jumped back in the car and headed down the road to Bridport because nothing says we stuffed up quite like having a bachelor bag for dinner. The drive to Bridport and back, though, stunning with that late light. 10 out of 10, recommend. Actually able to make us a feed, not the steak ramen I had planned and dreamed about all day whilst digging holes, was the perfect end to our beautiful big day. Dave is so in love with his disco and the fact that it raises and drops itself. Honestly, don't understand that, but I'm not a boy. He didn't consider, though, that the kitchen is not great for shorter people when it's fully raised up. Honestly, not sure how I'm supposed to work with this. Am I supposed to stand on my tippy toes? Is there a step stool for me to stand on? Like, what even is this? And then I pulled the fridge out. Like, really? How am I supposed to see what's in there? I felt like I was the littlest person on earth. And you know what? A bachelor bag chicky roll isn't that bad. It's food. Food is fuel. And food with friends is even better. I did feel bad that our new friend was watching us eat, but I'm a big believer on not feeding the wildlife. And Dave needs constant reminding of that rule. After dinner, we headed for a beautiful walk along the beach. It was almost romantic, except we both really just wanted to go to bed. We were so exhausted. Once again, though, not a soul in sight. Lots of campers in their vans, but not on the beach. We were definitely not complaining. And I have to say, our first night in the swag was absolutely perfect. Not one complaint. It rained, we didn't get wet, it was comfortable, it was warm, but also cool with the airflow. I cannot wait to go again. We need to book another trip. Heading home always kind of sucks, except we were excited because it meant we were going to be able to check out the rocks that we found. It was holding my breath for Smokey quartz. Oh, and I found a hagstone to add to my little collection. Literally holding my breath that they were all Smokey quartz and that I had some really, really nice gem quality stones. I mean, that's not at all disappointing. Even though it's got cracks all through it, I think that will look beautiful polished. Amethyst, look at the colour on that. That is going to polish up beautifully. It's really hard to film the colour, but the whole thing was purple. These were all from a previous trip, and we decided to throw them all in the vibrator. I'll update you on how they went. What a trip. We'll update you on how the Smokies go in the vibrator.